My VA claim got denied. Now what? You submitted your claim and it got denied. So what do you do now? What are your options? The answers are in your decision letter. And if they're not clear enough to you, get a hold of your VA claims file. The answers are there. You just need to know how to look for them and how to find them and how to spot them. Between those two pieces of information, you'll find out exactly how your VA claim got denied. I have some general ideas, but it really comes down to you understanding your VA claim and where you went wrong and what you didn't prove or what medical evidence was used against you. I explain the process as I see it and what worked for me to get to 100% permanent and total. And I teach it in my boot camp at combatcraig.com. Check it out if you want to learn more information about my process. And I broke it down into video courses. So your VA claim was denied for one of the 6 reasons that I'm going to go over here. You didn't have proof of your injury in service. The VA says you don't even have a disability. VA says that your claim's not service connected. VA says you didn't show up to your C&P exam. VA doesn't believe your private doctor's evidence. They just don't believe your doctor. And the VA didn't get the evidence to prove your claim. You fall into one of these categories. So let's go over these. VA did not have proof of your injury in service. So you must show that your disability is related to an in-service incident. If the VA said there was no proof of what happened in service, then you need to find a backup. And you're having problems talking about in-service connections. So the most common cause of this, VA saying you didn't have proof of an injury in service, is to say that there's no records in your service treatment records. So, or they'll say they're missing and they got burned up in the fire in St. Louis of 73 or 74, or some other bullshit reason. So even if your records are missing or not there, there's other ways to get that information in. The easiest way is to find somebody that you served with and have them write a buddy letter. They were there. They know what happened to you. And when you get a buddy statement from somebody that you serve with, that is considered medical evidence. And it could be as simple as that. There's a lot of other ways that you can find other types of evidence. Buddy letters, a good strong way. There might be press releases of, something happening back in the day, and you can find it. The ship you were on, the unit you were with, what kind of combat was going on. Like, oh, okay, you said I wasn't there, but here's the news article, and there's me smiling, right? So, a couple of different ways to address the lack of proof that this happened in service. The VA says you don't have a disability. Usually, this comes down to you don't have a diagnosis, is probably what this should be. Pain is not a diagnosis. Exposure to deadly substances like Agent Orange in Vietnam or TCE in Camp Lejeune is not enough if the exposure does not result in a diagnosis. I think this is hard for a lot of older vets to wrap their head around. Like, of course this is from Agent Orange. Like, it was all over the place. We're bathing in that shit. If you do not have a diagnosis, you're going to have problems, because Agent Orange is a presumptive condition, but you need to have, there's a list of 15 things, and you need to have a diagnosis for one of those 15 things. And then you can, then you have a diagnosis, and then you can go about filing your presumptive claim. So if you develop diabetes is a diagnosis, right? They're not going to just give you shots or whatever, however they treat diabetes. I don't have it, knock on wood. but you're going to have a diagnosis. So diagnosis is the first part. There's two common areas where there's a problem, like with back problems and mental illnesses are the two that I've seen the most. Um, Often veterans will get treated for back pain, but the doctor won't give you a diagnosis. This is typical with VA doctors. Like, oh, yeah, I got hurt. Maybe you don't even, they just throw pills at you, and somehow you don't even get an MRI somehow. Don't go to a specialist. I would say that's probably you not forcing yourself hard enough on the VA. Get to a specialist, get the MRI if you have a back problem. You need a diagnosis, and without all that stuff, it's going to be difficult. Check in your My Healthy Vet records. Check your VA treatment records. Did I check your problems list? Do I have a diagnostic code next to my back? If you don't, then that's likely going to be your reason for a denial for a back pain issue. PTSD cases, you're going to need a doctor, but actually PTSD and all mental health claims. Same thing. You're going to need the doctor to diagnose you, and this happens at the VA. Ideally, and this is what happened to me. I had a VA shrink diagnose me with combat PTSD. So when I filed my claim, I just won it. Like I literally was denied because I didn't have the diagnosis. So I understand this part real well. You need to ask the doctor to lay out what happened, how, in combat PTSD, obviously, it only happens in one place. But if it's like major depressive disorder, the veteran's depressed, explain how this depression started while you're in active duty service or whatever kind of mental health thing you're trying to do. So the VA says that your claim is not service connected. This is, they also say there were favorable findings in your case. To get service connected benefits, you have to show that there's a link. It's called a nexus between what happened in service and your current diagnosis. If the VA says they're not connected, then it probably happened from one of the VA doctors or the CNP exam. If the CNP exam doctor said there's no connection, then you should get an opinion from your doctor or an independent medical exam from an outside doctor. So if you don't do that before you file your claim and you just file it and you got denied and you're trying to figure out how to get the nexus, you will have to go to a private doctor because the VA ain't breaking it off for you. That is the nexus is the biggest problem with not service connected. Another one is the VA says you didn't show up to your CNP exam. VA uses a CNP exam as part of the duty to assist, and most likely you're going to get one. There's some cases if your medical records are packed, the nexus is in there, the diagnosis is in there, the severity of symptoms is in there. You might not have to go to a CNP exam, but I would just plan on going to one, download your DBQ, review it, review the rating criteria where you're supposed to be, and start talking like that. And it's special VA language, so you have to talk like they do.